Hey folks, Ray Commons here. For today's project, I'm going to be clearing out this duckweed in my pond. There's quite a bit there, and it's a big job, and this is the idea I came up with. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get started. First thing I did was I bought a roll of this 4-inch corrugated pipe. It's a 100-foot roll, about 45 bucks, Home Depot. I also bought a roll of this silt fence. That was only about 15 bucks. So let me show you how I'm going to put this together. First thing I'm going to do is I have these end caps. And I'm going to use some silicone. I'm going to glue these on here real good. Make sure they're on there tight, airtight. And I'm going to put some more silicone around here. I'm going to let that dry for about 24 hours. And that's the first thing I'm going to do. The next thing I did is I made this shorter than the silt fence. I'll show you why in a second. But I'm going to wrap this silt fence around the pipe real tight like that. Then I'm going to use some tie wraps, and I'm going to tie wrap this real tight, about every 2 feet or so. Or you could use twine, some kind of string. So let me get started on that, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm getting ready to fasten the silt fence to the tubing. And I laid out my tie wraps 2 foot apart, all the way down. And I measured in 12 inches. And then I made a hole and shoved my tie wrap through. I also put some little weights on here. I just happen to have a bunch of these large nuts laying around. So I used some tie wraps to put those on there just to keep it weighted down on the bottom. And I'm going to show you how I'm putting these tie wraps on. It's kind of difficult when you're working by yourself. Want to make sure you get it on there nice and tight and tucked in real well. Now I'm going to go down the line and I'm going to do that in a minute. But on the ends here, remember we left this a little bit long? What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this over like this. And I got some 1.5 inch PVC pipe. I drilled 2 holes in it. And I'm going to put this on the end here. I'm going to roll that up real tight like that. I'm going to use some tie wraps to fasten that in real good. and I have some 3/8 rope here. It's about 5 foot in length, and I'm going to run it through these holes. Okay, and that's what I'm going to use to pull the ends with. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to finish tie wrapping this whole thing, and I'll be right back. Alright, I have my piping all laid out along the shoreline, and I've got the end of my piping connected to a rope that's going across the pond and connected to my tractor over there. Now the line is connected to a hose rail, so I'll be able to reel that line in, and as soon as I can stop reeling, I'm going to grab the rope by hand and start walking it across the pond. So I'm going to take a large sweeping motion. I have that white PVC pipe with a stake going through it as a pivot point, so that's going to swivel. Now this could be done with 2 people quite easily. One person on that end, one person on this end, and walk it straight across. But I wanted to show how this could be done with one person, so that's what I'm going to do. This can also be done with a boat, a little rowboat. You could row that line out to the center as far as you can and just keep rowing very slowly all the way till you get to the shoreline. Now what we're going to see is, as I'm collecting the duckweed, the rest of the duckweed on the other side is going to quickly find its way to the open water. So that duckweed is going to continuously flow this way. So once it does that, I'll be able to take another sweeping motion and collect more that way. So I'm going to do that a few times probably. And so stick around, I'm going to show you how I'm going to scoop it out, and I'll see you in just a minute. Alright, I'm going to start scooping out the duckweed. I had a couple different ideas. Some have worked better than others. This right here works better than all of them, but it doesn't collect enough duckweed. So I made this contraption. This is made out of a basket with small holes. I tied some jugs to it. I also put a swivel pole on here. This is off of a drywall sanding tool, but you could probably use a mop head of some sort. But it swivels in every direction. And what I did is I keep tightening up my noose here, and I'm going to scoop out until it's done scooped out, and I'll tighten up the noose a little bit more. But this works well because you can just throw it in and it floats. The thicker the duckweed is, the easier it is to scoop out. This little tool makes it real nice because I can move it in every direction. And I get quite a bit of duckweed off with one scoop. This also also is easy to dump. A regular screen or skimmer is always hard to dump out. This works real well. Easy to dump. It floats along easy even with one hand. It's easy to work with. When I get to the very end right here, I lift up in a vertical position, like that. I've already taken a lot of the duckweed out. I made about 3 passes in the pond. It's looking really good. I think I'm going to have to make a couple more passes. But I think that works well. Alright, I'm looking pretty good here. I think I'm going to take a couple more swipes. I'd like to get a little bit more out of there. I know I'm not going to get everything, but I'd be happy to get, 80%, 90% of the duckweed. I wanted to show you this here is about as much duckweed as I get out with one swipe. It's a small mountain. There's quite a bit there. Now it takes me about 20 minutes to make a swipe, but it takes me almost 2 hours to scoop all this duckweed out. And I wanted to show you one more thing. With my cage contraption, it's easy to scoop out when it's thick, but you'll notice that towards the end, your last couple swipes, the duckweed is not so thick, and a lot of the duckweed escapes through my little cage. So I wanted to show you another idea to use when the duckweed starts getting a little thinned out. Made this contraption. Now this is made out of a window screen that I had laying around, and I used a laundry basket pipe here, so I made that. You could probably use some old crutches. Aluminum crutches probably would work perfect. And I also put some floats on the end just to help me, assist me. And I fastened it to this piece of wood here. This is a 1x4. That helps me keep it stable from tipping one side to the next. Now I use the milk crate to help stabilize. And this keeps me from rocking it one way or the other. And also use it as leverage. So simply you just put it in there like that. And that works pretty well. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helps. I'm Ray Commons. Be sure to give me a thumbs up or like. Leave me a comment. That would be great. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.